Good morning. Hey, we're going to do a vlog today on Luke 17, 5 through 10. But first I wanted to show you the frost on my windshield. Isn't that pretty? Today is, what is today? February 15th, 2022. So let me read you the verse today before I get started driving. This is what it says. The apostles said to the Lord, show us how to, hang on. I was reading from the New Living Translation. I want to read from the NASB. That's the one I've really been enjoying, especially recently. So let's start over. The apostles said to the Lord, increase our faith. But the Lord said, if you had faith the size of a mustard seed, you could say to this mulberry tree, be uprooted and be planted in the sea, and it would obey you. Now, which of you, having a slave plowing or tending sheep, will say to him after he comes in from the field, come immediately and recline with me at the table to eat? On the contrary, will he not say to him, prepare something for me to eat, and properly clothe yourself, and serve me while I eat and drink, and afterward you may eat and drink? He does not thank the slave because he did the things which were commanded, does he? So you too, when you do all the things which were commanded you, say, we are unworthy slaves. We have done only that which we ought to have done. Okay, we're ready to take off. I got the camera all set up, so I'm going to be safe. Are you guys ready? Okay, here we go. So today I am off to the dentist, which is a good thing because 2 days ago, one of my kids said to me, Mom, your teeth are so dark and stained. I'm like, I know. Thank God for masks. Thank God I'm going to the dentist in 2 days to clean my teeth. So, yay. I have a good dentist. I'm very thankful for him. In fact, I'm going to put a plug in for my dentist right now. He's amazing. Last time I was there, he said he recommended a book called Leadership and Self-Deception. Highly recommend that book. It's a secular book. It's a little bit cheesy, but it takes a new angle on some things that's very powerful for self-reflection. And I think in a lot of ways he's putting secular words on Christian principles and does a good job with it. So freebie for you there. The reason I'm making a vlog today is because I got a text from my sister-in-law this morning that said, hey, I liked that video that you made in the car recently. And I was like, hey, dude, maybe I'll do that again today because I'm going to be in the car again. And I really liked yesterday's section. It was very meaningful to me. So, excuse me, this is a second version of my vlog from 2 years ago. We're kind of doing another take on that. So let's go ahead and jump in. So as after having meditated on this section in my prayer of recollection time, I was also meditating on it again in bed. And sorry, I'm slightly distracted here. I'm trying to get out onto 47 and there's lots of morning traffic doing their thing here. So that's what's going on with me at this very moment. So I'm meditating on it in bed because, as you know from my vlog last year or 2 years ago, and again, same thing happened this year, I found it a little bit slightly unsettling how it made it sound like the servant was like just supposed to pamper and take care of the master, and the master was enjoying life at the servant's expense, which, by the way, we know is not true. We know that Jesus came and was the actual servant that he's describing here, and that we're enjoying the good life at his expense. So, anyway, that said, I was laying in bed thinking about it. My daughter Anna recently gave me the challenge to, if I'm having troubles falling asleep, she's a writer, so she likes to write when she has troubles falling asleep, and she said, you should create stories based on what you meditated on. Maybe I'll try that. So I've been trying it. It's an interesting experiment. So I was doing that last night with this section, and I was thinking about this I was thinking about this parable and trying to think what it might be like in today's situation. So the thought that came to mind, you guys can let me know in the comments what you think of this. You may have a better analogy. I would love to hear it. This is what came to mind. And Heidi, my sister-in-law, who sent me that nice text this morning, so funny that you should send me that text because this is related to you. My sister-in-law is a teacher, so this is teachers was actually what came to my mind last night. I was thinking it might be a little bit like in today's terms if we would say, student, if you want to get an education, excuse me, well, why don't you just go sit in the teacher's desk? And you can, the teacher can sit in your desk. You can sit in the teacher's desk. You can tell the teacher what you think is important and what you think should be learned and all of the principles and things that really matter. And at lunchtime, don't go to the cafeteria like as if you were cattle. Stay at the teacher's desk and enjoy lunch at the teacher's desk. In fact, eat the teacher's lunch if you'd like. The teacher will be there with you, sitting in your old desk, and the teacher will enjoy interesting conversation with you as you have lunch together. So when I thought about it in that light, I thought, I wonder if Jesus was using humor here. That if we were to hear an example like that, we would think that's funny. Like, you imagine that happening and you're like, it's so ridiculous that it's funny. And you can see the irony of it. And just as a side note, can't you even imagine in X many years in the future that things could turn around to where teachers do lose their authority and students do think like they think that their perspective and insights are equal with the teacher, and that education isn't something about the teacher teaching the students. Education is about this equal environment where we're all learning from each other, and that students bring as much wisdom as the teachers do. Now, I'm not trying to downplay students, but I am saying we do believe that teachers know things that our students don't know, and that our students are to learn from them, and that teachers are an authority over our students, and that our students should respect them. Anyway, I'm just saying you can kind of imagine in a way how we feel about slaves and the injustice of that there could come a day where people feel the same way about students and teachers. It's just kind of interesting. And I think that part about the mulberry tree, which, by the way, I read the commentary. Last night when I was thinking about this, I literally had to get out of bed and go look at my commentary because I hadn't looked at it yet. And I'm thinking, there must be some reason that he picked a mulberry tree. Like, what the heck? I don't know anything about that. I mean, we do have a mulberry tree in our neighborhood, and we do pick mulberries from it. But why did he choose that for his analogy? Turns out the mulberry tree it can grow to be, it can be like hundreds of years old apparently, and the root system can just be massive and intricate. Like, so to say it could be uprooted and thrown into the sea, I thought that might be like saying you could pick up the whole city of Chicago and move it to the middle of Nebraska, maybe. I don't know. So the point there being that it's not how much faith you have that great miracles can come. I think this is saying because of the greatness of Jesus. If you have just a tiny bit of faith in Jesus and God and the Holy Spirit, that something as massive as commanding the entire city of Chicago to be moved to Nebraska could happen. And I thought, to the Jewish people, this may not have been that foreign, because you think of their history and the stories that have been handed down about God's greatness. And even, I'm in Numbers now, just finished working my way through. a lot of promising about how great their life will be if they obey him, and how he will protect them miraculously. And the way that he delivered them from the Egyptians in the Red Sea, you know, that level of power, that's like moving a mulberry tree, uprooting it and sending it to the sea. Anyways, I'm just rambling to say that it may not have been foreign to them to imagine that if God is your master, he will bring miraculous power into your life. Because that's very consistent with what the Old Testament says, in my opinion. And so the point that I'm thinking about there is that it might be kind of like saying, if you want an education, you need to sit at the feet of a teacher. We know that, like, that makes sense to us. So it's the same concept, or it could be that makes sense as an analogy, I guess you would say, that Jesus would say, if you want the miraculous, supernatural power of God, the representation of your faith is to see that he is the master and you are the slave. Which, by the way, for those of you people who do Prayer of Recollection, this is in fact what recollection is all about. Recollecting yourself, pulling back from your day, pulling back from your whirlpool, recollecting yourself to see yourself and regain your perspective as him as the master, you as the slave, and all of your life orients with true meaning when you find your identity with him as the master, you as the slave. Isn't that beautiful? That's so good. Oh my goodness. And then the other thing that struck me in this section is that, you know, this falls right on the heels of Jesus really taking down the Pharisees. And I think that's part of the essence of this teaching, is that the Pharisees, shall I say, us Pharisees, that we want to see ourselves as the master, not as the servant. And that leads to destruction, and that we're not going to see the power that comes from faith, because faith is completely grounded in the reality that he's the master, I'm the servant. So that is my gem, the beautiful piece that has been sitting with me, is just this acknowledgement and beauty that comes from acknowledging him as my master, and the reality of trying to bring that into every moment, that he would shatter my attachments to anything that is not him, anything that's not my master. I want him to shatter that. I want to welcome that. And I want to reattach to him. So those are a few reflections. Would love to hear your comments below. And Jesus, my master, I praise you.